Have you ever wondered if psychic phenomena or telepathy truly exist? It's a question that has intrigued humanity for centuries, sparking curiosity, skepticism, and a whole lot of debates. For some, the idea of communicating through thought alone or predicting future events is pure fantasy. For others, it's a reality that just hasn't been fully understood or explained by science yet. This is where the Ganzfeld experiment comes into play. It's a unique method that was devised to delve into the mystery of psychic phenomena, specifically telepathy. The Ganzfeld experiment takes an individual, places them in a state of sensory deprivation, and then tests for the presence of telepathy. It's a fascinating and controversial procedure that has produced some intriguing results. Whether you're a believer or a skeptic, the world of psychic phenomena and the Ganzfeld experiment is an exciting journey into the unexplored territories of the human mind. So let's dive into the world of the Ganzfeld experiment. The Ganzfeld experiment wasn't born overnight. Like most revolutionary ideas, it was a product of several years of research, experimentation, and a dash of audacity. The experiment's roots can be traced back to the early 20th century, when psychologists began exploring the concept of sensory deprivation as a way to study the human mind's inner workings. In the mid-1970s, parapsychologist Charles Honorton began developing the Ganzfeld experiment. The term Ganzfeld is German for entire field, a nod to the experiment's unique approach of exposing participants to uniform sensory fields. Honorton sought to investigate the uncharted territories of the human mind, specifically the possibility of psychic phenomena and telepathy. The Ganzfeld experiment marked a significant shift in parapsychological research. Until then, most studies were observational, often based on anecdotal evidence. But here was an experiment, a structured attempt to test and quantify psychic phenomena under controlled conditions. It was a daring leap into the unknown, an attempt to bring scientific rigor to a field often marginalized by mainstream science. Over the years, the Ganzfeld experiment evolved and was refined, incorporating advancements in technology and experimental design. Researchers introduced the use of random number generators for target selection and implemented statistical methods to analyze results. These developments have helped to standardize the experiment, making it easier to replicate and compare results across different studies. Despite facing criticism and skepticism, the Ganzfeld experiment has remained a cornerstone of parapsychological research. It has provided a platform for scientists to explore and debate the existence of psi phenomena. Whether or not one believes in psychic abilities, the experiment has undeniably contributed to our understanding of the human mind and its potential. The Ganzfeld experiment is more than just a method. It represents a quest for knowledge, a determination to question the status quo, and an audacious attempt to explore the mysteries of the human mind. It embodies the spirit of scientific inquiry, reminding us that there are still frontiers to be explored and paradigms to be challenged. Now that we know where it came from, how does it work? The Ganzfeld experiment has a unique and intriguing procedure. Imagine stepping into a world nearly devoid of sensory input. That is the environment that the Ganzfeld experiment creates, and here's how it works. The experiment involves two participants, a sender and a receiver. The receiver is placed in a state of mild sensory deprivation, which is achieved by having them sit in a comfortable chair in a quiet room. Halved ping-pong balls are placed over their eyes, and a red light is shown on them. This provides a uniform visual field. Additionally, white or pink noise is played through headphones, further limiting their sensory input. Meanwhile, the sender is situated in a different room, equipped with an image or a video clip, which is the target. The sender's task is to mentally transmit this target to the receiver. They concentrate on the target, trying to project it telepathically to the receiver. The receiver, in their state of sensory deprivation, is asked to speak aloud about any images, thoughts, or sensations that come to mind. These verbal reports are recorded and then analyzed to see if they correlate with the target image or video. The experiment typically lasts for about half an hour, during which the sender keeps focusing on transmitting the target, and the receiver continues to report their experiences. The key here is the state of sensory deprivation. It's believed that by reducing the usual sensory input, the receiver becomes more open to other forms of perception, like telepathy. It's a bit like turning down the volume on a noisy radio to better hear a quiet signal. At the end of the experiment, the receiver is shown several images or video clips, including the target, and asked to select which one most closely resembles the images they perceived during the experiment. This is known as the judging phase. So there you have it, a step into the world of sensory deprivation and telepathy. With such a unique procedure, what exactly is the experiment trying to achieve? Let's delve into that in the next section. The aim of the Ganzfeld experiment revolves around the concept of Psi. Psi, in parapsychological parlance, refers to all types of psychic phenomena, encompassing everything from telepathy to precognition. The Ganzfeld experiment, in essence, seeks to investigate whether Psi is a tangible, measurable phenomenon. Now let's talk about telepathy. It's a form of Psi where information is transferred from one person to another, without the use of any known human sensory channels or physical interaction. The Ganzfeld experiment's setup, with a sender and receiver, is designed specifically to test for telepathic communication. The receiver, in a state of sensory deprivation, attempts to receive the target image or stimulus that the sender is focusing on. The experiment's connection to telepathy and ESP research is significant. It's one of the few experimental setups that allows for controlled testing of these phenomena, providing a bridge between the mysterious world of psychic phenomena and the rigorous world of scientific research. So what have the results shown us? The results of the Ganzfeld experiment have stirred quite a debate. Over the years, many studies have been conducted and the findings have been nothing short of intriguing. Researchers have reported a hit rate significantly above the statistical chance level of 25%, suggesting some form of telepathic communication may indeed be at play. However, it's important to remember that these results are the subject of contentious dispute. Critics argue the methodological issues and the variability in the results across different studies. They point to the lack of a clear, consistent pattern of success, suggesting that the positive results might be more a product of experimental flaws than any genuine psychic phenomena. Moreover, the statistical methods used in analyzing the data have also been a bone of contention. Critics have argued about the appropriateness of the methodologies used and whether they accurately reflect the reality of the experimental outcomes. However, not everyone agrees with these findings. Like any scientific experiment, the Ganzfeld experiment has its critics. Let's delve into some of the main criticisms that have been leveled against this intriguing piece of parapsychological research. Firstly, there are concerns about the methodology of the Ganzfeld experiment. Critics argue that the experiment's design is flawed and lacks rigorous controls. They point out that the sender and receiver are often not isolated thoroughly enough to prevent inadvertent cues or signals passing between them. This, they argue, could potentially skew the results. After all, in a test of telepathy, the last thing you want is for non-telepathic communication to be possible. The second major criticism revolves around replicability. The gold standard for any scientific experiment is that it can be replicated by other researchers, yielding the same results. However, the Ganzfeld experiment has been notoriously difficult to replicate with consistency. Some studies have shown promising results, seemingly supporting the existence of PSI, while others have failed to replicate these findings. This inconsistency has led skeptics to question whether the positive results might be due to chance or statistical anomalies, rather than genuine telepathic communication. Another critique is the potential for experimenter bias. This refers to the possibility that the experimenters, consciously or unconsciously, influence the results of the study. For instance, if the experimenter believes in the existence of telepathy, they might inadvertently give cues or interpret the results in a way that fits their belief. Lastly, the lack of a clear theoretical framework for PSI is also a sticking point for many critics. Without a concrete understanding of how telepathy might work, it's difficult to design an experiment that can conclusively test for its existence. In summary, while the Ganzfeld experiment is a fascinating attempt to scientifically investigate the potential existence of telepathy, it is not without its flaws. The criticisms we've discussed today highlight the need for rigorous, well-controlled, and replicable research in the field of parapsychology. Critiques aside, let's take a look at what it's like to participate in a Ganzfeld experiment. Participating in a Ganzfeld experiment can be a unique experience. For many, it's an adventure into the depths of the mind, where sensory deprivation unlocks doors to unexpected realms. Participants often report a variety of subjective experiences, each as unique as the individual themselves. Some describe vivid visions as though the curtain of reality has been momentarily drawn back to reveal a hidden stage. Others recount dreams, a meandering journey through the unconscious mind where symbolism and surrealism dance hand in hand. Still, others speak of unusual sensations, feelings that defy description, transcending the boundaries of our conventional sensory lexicon. These experiences, while subjective, provide a tantalizing glimpse into the potential that lies within our minds. They challenge our understanding of consciousness and perception, nudging us to rethink, reassess, and reimagine. The Ganzfeld experiment continues to intrigue and provoke thought, remaining a fascinating area of study in modern parapsychology.